Yeah, I'd been in practice as a lawyer for about 10 years before I set Horizons up. What had become apparent to me over the years was, first of all, that all kinds of people have legal problems. Rich people, poor people, people with lots of education, people without much education. And it became apparent to me, especially when I was working in the city, that huge numbers of actual real people simply could not afford to hire me to help them with their problems. Most ironically, I couldn't afford to hire myself to solve my own problems. That just drew to my attention a structural inequity that I think makes the administration of justice in our country problematic. The family law courts, back in about 2007, the statistics were that about 1 in 3 court cases would have a self-represented person. And in 2018, the family law court judges published material suggesting that that number is now at 56% of cases. 15% of those cases have 2 self-represented people. Interwoven with that is the growing awareness that there's an epidemic of family violence in our community. Again, the stats kind of show that the recognition of that in family law cases is growing and growing rapidly. One judge talks about 75 to 80% of his court list being made up of cases that feature allegations of domestic violence. What we've found then is that we mainly exist to serve ladies and tradies, women who are in or coming out of situations of domestic violence who need to figure out, can my child still safely have a relationship with my ex-partner? Is there a way that they could behave appropriately and positively enough for that to happen? And men who, for whatever reason, aren't seeing their children without there being a good explanation for that. Over the last 4 years that I was working in private practice, I was going through Bible college, and what really dawned on me was that the invitation of Jesus was for anyone who wants to go and take and be good news. And as I started to process what it would look like for someone like me to go and take and be good news, I started to think more about the structural inequities that I was seeing in the profession that I had. And I started to ask questions about what it might look like to go and actually serve in ways that tried to push back against that structural inequity, tried to make sure that people could get the help that they need.
We believe that as Christians we're here to help people in all aspects of life, and in the midst of that we get to reveal the heart of God, His love for people, His compassion for people, His kindness. Yeah, just a fantastic synergy between LifeCare and Horizons. We both have a heart to serve God and to reveal His goodness in the midst of that without strings attached.
Whatever else you might think of them, churches place a huge priority on creating a sense of community, a place where people belong, a place where they can find life, share life. The churches that we partner with are unusually good at doing that, and so for people who are going through across the board fundamental life change, they get access by coming and seeing us to a local community, a place where they can get to know other people, do all sorts of things that can help them find, in a time of great change, a new sense of community.
It emerged that there was our most significant clientele would be women escaping domestic violence. One of the great outcomes of having this relationship with Horizons is that we've been able to provide this legal clinic that has developed a fantastic reputation in our local area, particularly with the services that refer to us. The main impact is that we get to offer great legal advice, but in the midst of that we get to offer hope and peace and relationship, a connection, a meaningful connection with these ladies, and offer other services that go beyond just the legal advice.
One of the things that the early church said about Jesus is that it was for the sake of the joy set before Him that He endured what He endured, and it's for the sake of the joy that's set before us that we do what we do. It's because we do get to see people's lives getting better, families being safer, kids resuming relationship with their parents, communities in some measure functioning slightly better than they would have if we hadn't turned up to work. That draws you on. I'm compelled by what I see when I read scripture about the person of Jesus. I'm struck by the way that He saw people and stopped for people, and by the way that He made their lives practically better and also had words to say that made them better on a soul level. And I want our work in some measure to do that.